Good morning, YouTube. Okay, I just wanted to do another update. Today I am 6 weeks and 3 days. Last night I was having a whole lot of random pain again, and the tan spotting that I was having was getting a little darker. So I decided to go back to the ER, and this time I ended up going to the one that's in the next town, well, one of the next towns over. They're a little quicker than our ER that's here in town. The care is just as good, if not better. And, so I felt completely comfortable going to them. Like I said, the only difference is it's a little bit further out. It's about a 30-minute drive instead of 15 minutes, which is completely fine to go in and out. And I will say that I got there right at 7. They sent me home. They were done with me by like 10:30, I think it was. 10:30, 10:45, and I was on my way right back outside the building. So I will definitely say, to be able to get my vitals put in a room, blood work, a catheter, an ultrasound, and then sent on my way with a prescription, in 3.5 hours is wonderful. That works for me. So anyhow, I get there. Like I said, I'm having a lot of random pain, and come to find out, I had a UTI, which I thought I had, and I went to the ER last week, they said no, they didn't see anything, and this time, sure enough, the bacteria showed up in my urine or whatever, so they went ahead and put me on an antibiotic. They did my blood work. My HCG beta at 27 days, DPO, which was yesterday, was 20,471. So I think my doubling time shows up 56 hours instead of the 48 now. But from my understanding, that's normal anytime you're past, I think, like 6,000 or something like that. So that's still decent from what I gather. They ended up doing an ultrasound, which, yesterday I was only 6 weeks, 2 days by LMP, and I knew based on adjusted time, I'm really about 4 days behind that because I ovulated, like about 4 days later. So, I knew that, okay, it's still really early. They probably won't be able to see anything, but I'll let them look anyhow, just in case, because we know I have a fibroid, and that could be, what's maybe causing the spotting, anything. So I wanted, I was fine with them doing one. They did not do a pelvic, which I was thankful for, because that would have been more money and extra time, and I just had one last week. Nothing has changed since then. Enough to need a whole new pelvic. So I was very thankful that the doctor said he wasn't going to do one because I had just had one. So pretty much, because I'm on my way to work, so I have to keep this short and I'll give more details later. They do the ultrasound, and the ultrasound tech, he has to do a vaginal one and an abdominal, and they always start with the abdominal first. As soon as he put the little abdominal probe on my stomach, first thing he says is, "So, do twins run in the family?" And as soon as he said that, I knew what he was hinting at, because I've heard other people say that. And, again, this is my 5th pregnancy. I've never had an ultrasound tech say that to me before. And I was like, what? And, and so he says it again. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So, all in all, he does the ultrasound, and he casually has the screen turn where I can kind of see what he's doing, even though he's not telling me anything, because they're not supposed to tell you. But he actually, made it where I could kind of see the screen. And I got to watch him. He took, and they ended up giving me a disc before I left the hospital that had all the photos he took on it. Which I was so thankful for, because then I didn't have to drive back to go get the disc like I did for the other hospital, that's local. They were able to give it to me last night before I left. He took over 120 pictures. There are 2 babies. There are 2 sacs, so they're definitely fraternal. You could see 2 yolk sacs. You could see 2 fetal poles. Both of them have a heartbeat. One of them was measuring 5 weeks, 5 days, and one was measuring 5 weeks, 4 days, which, from my understanding, is perfectly normal to be a day off. I know that timeline-wise, 5 weeks, 5 days, I think, is what I would have been yesterday, with the whole adjusted by 4 days. So that's, one is dead on, and one is, like I said, just barely behind. Heartbeat, the one that was, I think, 5 weeks, 5 days, which I want to say is baby B, I think. I have to go back and look. The heartbeat was like 122.3 or something like that. And the one that's, I think, baby A, the one that was 5 weeks, 4 days, is like 97.7, which I was a little worried. I thought was a little low. I did look some stuff up online, and they said that's actually normal for that early on. So, the baby should still be okay. The doctors, the doctor and the ultrasound tech, and the nurse, pretty much their thing was, You know, you're still really early, so, you know, it's kind of hard to say, you know, anything about good, bad, ugly, that type of thing. So they were really encouraging. I didn't get that typical, oh, you're having you know, a miscarriage scare. I mean, obviously the paperwork they sent me home with says UTI and possible threatened abortion, but they all seemed very positive about, you know, what was going on, that they did not think that that was the case. You know, but, you know, I got home last night and I couldn't sleep. I think I drifted off for about 3 hours, and I was right back up at about 3 a.m. and I've not had any sleep since. I've just been like a nervous wreck. I don't, you know, I thought that I would be less nervous seeing the baby's heartbeat, but then with seeing 2, it just like opened up a whole new can of worms, I guess you could say, of things like, oh my goodness, what about this? What about this? What about this? What, you know, I've heard this, I've heard that. So, you know, I did a lot of research last night on twins while I couldn't go to sleep. I tried to see what some other people have done, you know, tried to see how other people's experiences for certain things, you know, and I think everything will be okay. I think my biggest concern is, well, you know, am I going to end up being put on bed rest at the end? You know, am I going to have to leave work early, and how's that going to work? You know, how close am I going to be able to get to my due date? You know, because I'm currently due May 14th, and, you know, I figured they were going to adjust that by 4 days and move it to May 18th, you know, and now I don't think that's going to happen. I'm sure they'll leave it at May 14th, and for all I know, you know, they may go a little earlier. You know, obviously I want the babies to stay in as long as they possibly can so they can be healthy, you know, but realistically, you know, what's the average? Is it 35? Is it 37 weeks? You know, that type of thing, you know. And of course, when he told me, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, we're going to have to get a van, you know, we're going to have to get a bigger car. I mean, it just, when I say, you know, it was a total shock. You know, yeah, my husband had teased around, oh, I think it's twins. And I had even joked around a little bit because I said, you know, I've been craving Thai food and Taco Bell. And it's been a back and forth. One day Thai food, one day Taco Bell. And, you know, no matter what day it was, I didn't seem to be satisfied. It's like, you know, if I had the Taco Bell, no, I really wanted Thai. If I had the Thai, you know, maybe I should have got Taco Bell. I don't even like Taco Bell, okay? My husband likes Taco Bell. So, you know, it was just, so I had joked around saying maybe that's why I keep having those 2 cravings, is one baby likes Taco Bell, one baby likes Thai. And sure enough, there's 2. So, you know, it's quite possible that the one baby likes Thai like me, and one baby likes Taco Bell like their daddy. I don't know. You know, I think maybe we're having a girl and a boy because, you know, like I said, this pregnancy, some things have been similar to the way it was with my girls. Some things have been similar as my last 2 pregnancies, which I think might have been 2 little boys. Yeah, I don't know. I just know that these 2 babies are right next to one another. And if I can figure out how to add one of the ultrasound pictures to this video, I will. I haven't quite figured out how to do that yet. But, I mean, on the ultrasound, they are side by side. I mean, like, almost direct center of my uterus, you know, and they were trying to figure out how to label them, you know, because from my understanding, they label them A, baby B, and whichever baby's closest to the cervix is the one that's baby A. That's what the ultrasound was telling me. Well, both of mine are side by side. There really isn't one that's closer to the cervix. They're, like, right there next to one another. So I was like, well, you know, I mean, you know, so he labeled one obviously baby A, baby B, and then he just picked one. You know, I want to say the one on my left side, I believe, is baby A, and the one on my right is baby B. I think is how he did it. You know, and I have an ultrasound with my regular OB that's coming up Tuesday, which is just a couple days because today's Friday. So I'm sure when I go, they'll be a little bit bigger, and he may measure them differently, and he may keep that AB or he may change it. I don't know. But, you know, I'm just totally shocked, really excited, really, you know, like I said, concerned about a lot of stuff, trying not to be, you know. I called my mom, called my sister. They are just elated. I let my friends know this morning, and they're all just like, wow, yeah, you know, because we were totally not expecting any of that. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a very interesting, you know, 8-9 months. So let me go because I got to go into work, and I will definitely update you guys again later. All right, bye.